Welcome to my TLC Lastest Update channel. Everyone thinks they know the Brown family, right? All the drama, fights, parties, breakups. Those awkward dinners, we've seen it all on TV. Kody's problems with his wives, his faith. You name it. We've watched the wives argue, cry, and try to keep things afloat. But here's the thing, we've only seen what they let us see. There was something about the Browns that never made it on camera. No. Not a secret lover or bank account, not even a hidden family in another state. This was way bigger, a locked door. A door that no one ever saw opened, ever. The first time I heard about it, it sounded like gossip. But the more I heard, the more I knew something was up. Something was being kept secret. It started with a friend who used to work for the Browns. He wasn't a big shot, just helped out with house stuff and parties. But he was round enough to notice things. One night, we're at this cafe and he leans in like he's about to drop a bomb. You know that house they show on TV? He asks. Yeah, I said. The big one in Utah. He nods. That's not the full story. I laughed, thinking it was some dumb reality TV rumor. But he was dead serious, like someone might be listening. There's a room in that house, he says. A room with a heavy door, always locked, a storage room. I asked. No. He said, not for junk, not for furniture or clothes, something else. Like what? He pauses, then says, it's a secret room. Only Kody has the key. After that, I couldn't think straight. Why would Kody need a secret room? What's so important that he'd hide it from everyone, even his wives? I couldn't figure it out. Kody Brown lives his life in the open, multiple wives. Huge family, reality TV star, everything's on display. So why the secret? The next day, I started digging, hit up some people who worked with the family, asked casual questions. Like I was just curious, but really, I wanted the truth. One thing became clear, the locked door wasn't a secret anymore, it was a known mystery. People in the know whispered about it. They didn't want to be the ones to spill the beans, but they couldn't ignore it. That's when I knew it wasn't just a rumor. A secret room doesn't matter if nobody knows about it. But once people start talking, it's a problem. Secrets always get out. A few weeks later, someone else confirmed the story. This time, it wasn't a worker. It was someone closer, someone who'd been to the house, a cousin of one of the wives, not famous, not looking for attention, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. She told me she'd been invited to a family thing. She said the house was like a movie set, fancy, clean, controlled, but the vibe was off. Everyone was on edge. The wives were faking smiles. Kody was acting calm, but he looked tense. The kids were behaving like they knew not to ask questions. She said it was like they were living in a bubble where the truth couldn't get in. Then she dropped this. During the party, I saw Kody disappear down a hallway. He went into a door I'd never seen anyone use. What happened? I asked. She shrugged. He locked it and didn't come back for ages. That's when I realized the door wasn't just a hidden room. It was a symbol. Of control. Of power. Of a secret that could blow everything up. The more I found out, the more I got why the family looked so stressed on camera. It wasn't just for TV, it was real fear. If the truth behind that door ever got out, the whole family would fall apart. I started thinking about what could be in there. A mistress, another family, something illegal, something worse, but nothing seemed big enough to justify the secrecy. The locked door wasn't just a room. It was a locked part of their past, and you can't change the past. One night, I went near the Brown house. Didn't go in, just wanted to feel the vibe, see if the place felt like it was holding a secret. From a distance, everything looked normal. Just a big family house. But it was so quiet. No noise, no kids playing. Like the house was holding its breath. And then it hit me, a house with a locked door isn't just hiding a room. It's hiding a story someone's scared to tell, a story someone's trying to erase, a story that could change everything we thought we knew about the Browns. I left feeling uneasy. The truth wasn't just hidden, it was protected. And when something's protected, it matters. Someone's willing to do anything to keep it safe. That's when I realized the locked door was just the start. The first clue in a mystery that would reveal the darkest truth about the Brown family, a truth that would shock everyone. The locked door wasn't just a door. It was a warning, and once I found out what was behind it, I knew why Kody was so desperate to hide it, because the truth wasn't just a secret. It was a secret that could destroy lives. Okay. Here's a rewrite of that text, trying to make it sound more like a person telling a story and less like an AI. Everyone thinks the Brown family's weird because of the multiple wives thing. They think all the drama is about being jealous and bossy because of the polygamy. But it's way messier than that. The real reason they were always so stressed, so hush-hush, so on edge, it's something nobody saw coming. A secret wife. This woman was completely off the radar, never on the show, never in interviews, never a single photo online. Her name never mentioned, yet she was real. When I first heard about her, I laughed. Thought it was just another rumor to stir things up, but the more I looked into it, the more I realized the truth was right there in front of us. The Browns were famous for being super open, right? Showing off their love, their problems, their faith. They turned their lives into a brand. So how could there be a secret wife stashed away? Simple, she wasn't supposed to exist. She was part of the family they wanted to pretend didn't exist. In polygamous groups, everything's supposed to be out in the open. But the Browns weren't just any polygamist family, they were a public one. They had a TV show to keep going, they had their reputation to think about. Millions of people watched what they did. A secret wife would wreck all of that, but she was there. Anyway, and the reason isn't what you'd think. Kody wasn't cheating. He wasn't covering up some scandal. He wasn't trying to ditch his responsibilities. It was about a promise he made way back, before the cameras, before he was famous. Before everyone knew his wives' names, Kody had promised this woman something bigger than his public image. He promised her a future, a family, a place in his heart. But he didn't promise her a spot on TV, and that was the big problem. This secret wife wasn't a secret because she was someone to be ashamed of. She was a secret because she was too real. She wasn't the kind of wife who fit the Brown family mold. She wasn't flashy, she wasn't super confident, she wasn't loud or trying to get attention. She was quiet, kind, and liked keeping to herself. She's the kind of woman who'd never want her story out there, but Kody couldn't hide her forever. She was more than just a wife. She was a symbol of a piece of Kody's life he couldn't just get rid of. A part of his past that still had a hold on him. The first hint I got was from the locked room. It wasn't hiding a side chick or anything scandalous, it was hiding proof of a life Kody had tried to bury. Inside were letters. A woman's handwriting, talking about love, family, and feeling betrayed. Clearly, they were for Kody. But what really got to me was the way they sounded. They weren't all lovey-dovey. They were desperate, written by a woman who felt stuck in a world where she didn't belong, a world where she was supposed to be invisible, a world where she had to be the perfect wife. But only when the cameras were off. The more I read, the more I figured out that she was hidden, not because she wanted to be, she was forced into it. The letters painted a picture of a woman who was controlled. She wasn't allowed to speak up in public, couldn't be on TV, couldn't even be known by her own kids. Yeah, the letters mentioned kids. Kids the world never knew about. Kids who were hidden to keep the Brown family image from falling apart. This wasn't just about a secret wife. It was about a secret family. And the reason the family was always so tense was because she was always there. She wasn't a ghost story. She wasn't a rumor. She was real. Living in the same house. But in a world where she was never allowed to be seen. The wives knew about her. They didn't know her name or her whole story, but they knew she existed. And they knew he put his attention toward her sometimes, not because he was more in love with her, but because he felt bad. Because he felt trapped, like he couldn't break a promise he'd made. But promises are dangerous when there are so many secrets, because secrets never stay hidden. And when the wives finally found out the truth, they weren't just mad, they were scared, because the secret wife wasn't just any woman. She was a reminder of Kody's past, a past he tried to bury, a past that could destroy everything. The wives started looking at Kody differently. They saw him as someone who wasn't honest, someone who wasn't loyal, someone who was living a double life. The tension in the family got even worse. They fought more, started questioning everything, blaming each other for keeping secrets. But the truth was, she wasn't the root of the problem, Kody was. He was the reason the family was broken. He built his life on lies. Built his family on secrets, and she was the proof that Kody wasn't who everyone thought he was, proof that the Brown family wasn't a love story. It was a story of power. She was a woman who had been silenced for years, hidden away, forced to watch her children grow up without anyone knowing she was their mom. And the worst part, she still loved him, even after everything, even after being hidden, even after being erased, because love messes with your head. And secrets are the strongest way to control someone. That's why she mattered. She was the key to everything, the key to the locked door, the key to the hidden child, the key to the whole Brown family story. She was the reason they were always on the verge of falling apart. And the moment she finally decided to show herself, everything went crazy. The Brown family seemed like an open book. A polygamous family living their lives in front of cameras, a family with its fair share of drama, love, and non-stop tension. But behind the smiles and fights, a huge secret could take the whole family down. It wasn't just another wife kept in the shadows. It was a secret kid. When I caught wind of this, I knew this was bigger than just polygamy, jealousy, or control. This was about someone's existence being wiped out, a kid that wasn't allowed to exist publicly, a kid who was never in the photos, a kid who was never brought up in any interviews, a kid living like a ghost in the Brown household. And the reason was simple: if everyone found out about this kid, their world would fall apart. The first hint came from the letters locked away. They weren't just love letters, they were about a kid, drawings, stories, talks, all about this kid. But nobody ever said her name. The letters mentioned our daughter, our little girl, our child. But never a name. It was as if they were embarrassed. That's when it hit me. She wasn't hidden because she was unimportant. She was hidden because she meant everything, because if she came to light, the family story as everyone knew it would be rewritten. She would prove that Kody had been living a lie for years. She would prove the Brown family wasn't as upfront as they acted, and the worst part? She wasn't just hidden from the public, she was hidden from her own family. The wives were clueless about her. Well, at least not the whole story. They knew something was off. They knew Kody was keeping stuff from them, but they had no idea it was a whole kid. A kid born outside the public eye, a kid that was kept away from everyone. The more I dug, the clearer it became how deep the lies went. She was living with a secret wife. Not in another city. Not in another state. Right there in their own family circle. She grew up in secret with a fake identity, taught never to tell anyone who she really was. Taught to keep her dad a secret in public, taught to never say anything about the Brown family. Because they weren't just hiding a kid, they were hiding the fact that she existed. Her existence proved Kody had broken the rules, and in their world, breaking the rules meant losing it all. Her existence proved Kody had broken free from the controlled life he had built. He had gone against the family's expectations, he had gone against the community's rules, and now, she was the key to it all. She was the reason for all the family drama. Because Kody had to keep her under wraps, and to do that, he had to call all the shots. He had to control the wives, he had to control every conversation. He had to control how the family looked to the world. And the wives weren't stupid. They saw the strain, they saw Kody acting weird. They saw him disappearing for hours, they saw him suddenly shutting down. But they couldn't figure out what was going on because Kody had built a castle of lies. He had created a world where the truth was forbidden, but secrets always find a way out. The first time she almost slipped up was at a family get-together. The wives threw a party, inviting relatives and close friends with all the food, decorations, and celebration you could imagine. Everyone was happy, everyone was smiling except her. She was a nervous wreck. Terrified. Scared the truth would spill at any second. And she was right. At the party, she said something out of the blue. She mentioned my mom and my dad in a way that made everyone stop and stare. The wives turned their heads, Kody's face dropped. The secret wife looked mortified. She quickly realized she had said too much. She tried to walk it back, tried to play it cool, but the cat was already out of the bag. The wives started getting suspicious, started asking questions, started watching Kody like a hawk, started noticing things they had ignored before. That's when the secret started to unravel. The secret kid was no longer just a story in the shadows. She was becoming part of the family's reality, and it was a dangerous reality. Because the wives weren't just mad, they were crushed. They felt betrayed. Like they had been living a lie. Like their lives were controlled by a man they couldn't trust. That's when the family started to crumble. The wives fought more, blamed each other, questioned everything. But the child was still at the heart of the secret, still hidden, still living in the shadows. But she was also the reason the family was falling apart, because secrets don't just hide the truth. They cause chaos. And chaos always destroys. Her existence was the key to understanding everything. The locked door, the secret wife, the tension. The fear. The control. It all clicked once her story came out. She wasn't just a person being kept under wraps. She proved that the Brown family's story wasn't as perfect as they made it out to be. She proved Kody had been living a double life. She proved their public image was built on lies. And get this, she wasn't just hidden, she was loved. The secret wife loved her kid to bits. More than anything. And that's why the secret stayed buried for so long, because the secret wife didn't want her kid to get hurt. She didn't want her to be exposed to the world. She didn't want her to become gossip fodder. She wanted her to have a normal life, but in a world where secrets always come out. A normal life is impossible. Her life was anything but normal. Her life was a story waiting to be told. And the second it was told, everything would change. Because the Brown family wasn't just hiding a kid. They were hiding the truth about their entire family, and the truth was finally coming to light. The Browns always cared a lot about how they looked to the public. They were the reality TV family, sharing their lives, even the tough stuff, with everyone. But they weren't as open as they seemed behind the smiles and TV drama. A secret had been locked away for years, and when it started to come out, everything changed. It started with small stuff. One of the wives noticed Kody was quieter than usual. Another noticed he seemed distant. One caught him hiding his phone. Small things, but they added up. The wives started to think something was up. They felt the tension. It felt like they were being watched. The more they felt it, the more they questioned things. In the Brown family, suspecting something is bad news. It leads to jealousy. Jealousy leads to fights. Fights lead to chaos. And that's what breaks a family. Then, one day, one of the wives found something she shouldn't have, not in a locked room. Not in secret letters. It was somewhere close by. In Kody's diary. It was hidden in a drawer. But she found it while cleaning. She wasn't even looking for it, just saw the notebook. She didn't know what it was. She opened it. As soon as she read the first line, everything froze. The diary was full of secrets. Secrets about a woman no one knew. Secrets about a kid no one had seen. Her heart raced as she kept reading. She couldn't believe it. The words were clear. Kody wrote about a woman he loved, a woman he promised to protect. A woman he hid from everyone. She was reading about a secret wife and a secret child. Her whole life had been a lie. She put the diary down, staring, unable to breathe. It was proof Kody had been hiding something for years, proof he'd been lying. Proof he was living a double life, and the worst part, it wasn't just proof. It was like a confession. He'd been scared of getting caught. That's why he controlled his family. He was afraid of the truth. She couldn't keep it to herself. She had to say something. She had to face him. So she waited. For the right moment. The right time. Then, she did it. She confronted him in front of everyone. At a family gathering, everyone was eating, acting normal. But she couldn't pretend anymore. She stood up, held the diary, and said, "Kody, I know everything." The room went quiet. The other wives stared, shocked. The kids looked confused. Kody's face changed. He looked caught. He tried to talk, but he couldn't. She went on, "I found your diary, the letters, the truth." Kody looked around like he wanted to run. But he was trapped. The secret was out. Then he did something surprising. He didn't deny it, didn't lie, didn't make excuses. He just said, "You don't get it?" Her eyes filled with tears. "What don't I get?" His voice shook. "This woman. She was in my life before you all," he said. "My first love. My first wife. The mother of my child." Silence again. The wives looked at him in disbelief. The kids looked at him like they didn't know him. Then the secret wife walked in. She came in quietly, but she had a strong presence. She wasn't a stranger. She was someone the family had been missing, someone they'd been hiding, someone who'd been in the shadows for years. She stood in front of everyone, looked at Kody. Her eyes showed pain. Then she said the words that changed everything. "I was never gone. I was just hidden." The room exploded with emotion. Some of the wives screamed, some cried. Some just stood there, shocked. The kids didn't know what to do. They looked at their dad, confused and scared. The secret wife went on, "I stayed away because I didn't want to ruin your lives. But I couldn't stay quiet anymore." Kody looked at her, full of regret. He tried to talk, but she stopped him. "No," she said, "you don't get to explain, don't get to justify what you did. You hid me, hid our kid. Hid the truth." The wives cried harder. They started to argue, blaming Kody for everything. The truth wasn't just a secret. It was a betrayal of trust. Of love. Of a family. The moment of truth was here, and it was awful. The secret wife showed her child. A young girl, looked like Kody, but no one knew her face. She stood behind her mom, shaking, looking at the wives, scared, looking at Kody, hopeful, like she wanted to be loved, but she wasn't. Not by the family. The secret wife said, "This is our daughter. She gets to be part of this family. She gets to be loved. She gets to exist." The wives couldn't answer. They were stunned, didn't know what to say or feel. They were broken. The truth was out, and no going back. That moment was when the Brown family started to fall apart. Secrets don't just go away. They destroy things, and this one destroyed everything. When the secret wife walked into the room, the Brown family flipped out. Everything they thought they knew about their lives, their love, everything suddenly wasn't true. But what came next? Not just any drama, the ultimate shocker. See, the secret wife wasn't just a secret. She was where the whole story actually started, and what she told them, way more intense than anyone could have guessed. She said, "I never actually left. I was just kept hidden," and the room went totally silent. Everyone was waiting for her to explain. Kody looked at her, a mix of sorry and scared. The other wives? Pissed and betrayed. The kids looked like they were seeing a total stranger. But she wasn't a stranger. She looked like someone who'd been through pure hell. Her eyes were tired, but tough. Her face showed pain, but she was determined. She wasn't there to ask for anything. She was there for the truth. She took a breath and kicked off. "You all think you know the story," she said. "But you only know what Kody wanted you to know." She looked at the wives. "You were never his only wives," she said. The wives all gasped. "What's that supposed to mean?" One asked. The secret wife's voice got louder. "I was his first wife," she said. "I stood by him when no one else did." She paused. "I gave him the life he's got now." The room was quiet again. The wives didn't know what to say. They were speechless. If she was telling the truth, their whole life was based on a lie. The secret wife kept going. Kody didn't marry you because of love, she said. He married you because he needed you. The wives looked at each other. Shocked, Kody's face went red. He tried to talk, but she cut him off. She went on. He said he'd never forget me, she said. He said our kid would always matter. The wives started to cry. They began to get it. They weren't just wives, they were part of some plan, a plan to hide stuff, a plan to keep their family looking good, a plan that used them. The secret wife faced the kid. Want to say anything? She asked. The kid walked forward slowly, shaking. She looked at the wives, she looked at Kody. And then she dropped a bomb. I want to be part of the family, she said. I want to be loved. The wives stared at her. Their faces softened. They felt something unexpected. Pity. Understanding. The kid wasn't the bad guy, she was a victim. She was proof of a secret that screwed up lives. The secret wife went on. Kody hid me because he was afraid of what people would say, she said. He was afraid of losing his fame. The wives started to catch on. They realized that Kody was only so controlling because he was scared of losing everything, scared of being exposed, scared of being judged, scared of being alone. But the secret wife had a bigger reason. She wasn't just there to set the record straight, she was there to get her life back. She was there to reclaim what she'd lost. She looked at Kody and said, "You used me," she said. "You used our kid. You used the wives. You used the whole family." Kody tried to talk again, but she stopped him. No, she said, "You don't get to talk. You don't get to defend yourself." The wives were silent. They had no idea what to do. They were mad, but they felt betrayed too. They saw that Kody had been running their lives for years, and now they knew why. The secret wasn't just a secret. It was a lie that held them together. The secret wife went on. "You think you're the victims?" she asked the wives. Look at the kid. The kid was standing there with tears on her face. She looked like she was waiting for someone to save her, but no one came. The Brown family had built a life where the truth didn't exist. And now the truth was right in front of them. The secret wife turned to the wives again. "You have two choices," she said. The wives looked at her. Choice one, she went on, is to stay quiet and keep living this lie. She paused. Choice two, she said, is to deal with the truth, forgive each other, and build the family again with honesty. The wives glanced at one another. Their faces showed what they were feeling. They'd been living in a controlled world. They'd been played, they'd been used, and they weren't alone. The secret wife wasn't their enemy. She was their sister, a woman who'd been in hiding for years, a woman who'd been through it, a woman who'd been erased, and now she was back. The family was changed forever the second the secret wife left the room. The wives were angry, but stronger. They realized the family couldn't survive on lies. They realized Kody couldn't be trusted. They realized that the truth was the only way forward. And the biggest surprise of all? The secret wife wasn't just Kody's first wife, she was the one who'd left the family first. Not because she wanted to, but because she had to, because she was hidden, because she was erased. And the craziest part, she'd been living in town the whole time. She'd been watching the family from a distance. She'd been waiting for the right moment to show herself, and when she did, the Brown family understood something they never saw coming. The truth beats fame, the truth beats fear, the truth beats lies, and the Brown family would never go back to how things were.